I never imagined that a single business trip could change the entire course of my life. At 29, I was just another ambitious but slightly overworked employee at a global firm. My boss, Ms. Eleanor Hayes, was the kind of woman everyone admired but also feared. She was sharp, untouchable, and always immaculately dressed in tailored suits that made boardrooms fall silent the moment she entered. To me, she was more than a boss. She was an enigma. Powerful yet elegant, with eyes that could cut through excuses, and a smile so rare that it felt like a treasure when it appeared. I had spent nearly 5 years working under her, learning, growing, and quietly harboring an admiration I dared not confess. After all, she was my superior, and someone like her didn't look twice at someone like me. When we boarded the small company charter plane bound for an important meeting in the Pacific, I thought it was just another assignment. I packed my laptop, documents, and the weight of deadlines. But fate had prepared something else for us, something that would strip away titles, roles, and barriers until only 2 people remained, stranded together, with nothing but the ocean around us. The flight was supposed to last 3 hours. The sky was calm when we took off, but by the second hour, dark clouds began to gather. Turbulence shook the plane violently, throwing us side to side. The pilot's voice came over the radio, calm but tense. "We're experiencing technical difficulties. Please fasten your seatbelts." My boss, usually unshaken, gripped the armrest. For the first time, I saw fear flicker across her face. Then, everything happened so fast. The loud sputter of engines, alarms blaring, and the terrible descent. I remember her hand reaching for mine as the world blurred into screams and crashing waves. When I regained consciousness, I was lying on wet sand, the sun blinding above me. My clothes clung to my body, heavy with seawater. My head throbbed, but I was alive. Slowly, I turned, and there she was. Eleanor, my boss, her hair tangled, her designer blouse torn, but breathing. Relief surged through me like a tide. "Ms. Hayes," I croaked, crawling toward her. Her eyelids fluttered, and she whispered my name. You're alive." We had survived the crash. But the pilot and crew were gone, lost to the sea. The plane was nowhere in sight. Only endless waves on one side and dense jungle on the other. A deserted island. Survival was our first concern. I gathered driftwood and managed to start a small fire with the help of broken glass reflecting sunlight. Eleanor, despite her exhaustion, insisted on helping, her determination shining through even in the wilderness. We found coconuts and, with some effort, cracked them open for water and food. For the first time, I saw her not as the untouchable executive, but as a human being, tired, hungry, vulnerable. The power suits and boardrooms were gone. Here, on this island, we were equals. At night, we sat by the fire, listening to the ocean crash against the shore. She hugged her knees, gazing into the flames. "I never thought it would come to this," she murmured. "Neither did I replied softly. "But we'll survive. I promise." Her eyes met mine. In them, I saw a rare softness, something she never showed in the office. For a moment, it felt as if the walls she had built around herself had cracked. Days turned into weeks. We built a shelter from palm leaves and driftwood, learned to fish with sharpened sticks, and collected rainwater in carved-out coconuts. Survival became routine, but beneath it, something unspoken grew between us. One afternoon, as I returned with a catch of fish, I saw her struggling to move a heavy log to reinforce the shelter. I rushed forward. "You shouldn't strain yourself," I said. She frowned. "I'm not helpless, you know." "I never said you were," I answered, lifting the log easily. She watched me, her lips parting as if she wanted to argue, but instead, she smiled faintly, a rare, beautiful smile that caught me off guard. "Thank you," she said quietly. That night, as we ate by the fire, she spoke more than she ever had in the years I'd worked for her. She told me about her childhood, the loneliness of growing up in a wealthy but cold family, and the burden of always being expected to succeed. "No one ever lets me be just me," she confessed. "You don't have to be Ms. Hayes here," I said softly. "You can just be Eleanor." She looked at me as if no one had ever spoken her name with such warmth. One stormy night changed everything. Rain lashed against the trees, the wind howled, and our fragile shelter threatened to collapse. Eleanor clung to me as thunder roared overhead. When a particularly loud crack split the sky, she buried her face in my chest, trembling. "I'm scared," she whispered. I held her tightly. "I've got you. I won't let anything happen." She looked up, her face inches from mine, her eyes shining with fear and something else, something deeper. Her lips parted, and before I could think, she kissed me. It was hesitant at first, then urgent, as if all the walls she had built had finally crumbled. The storm raged around us, but in that moment, we were lost in each other, two souls clinging to life and to each other. When the kiss broke, she rested her forehead against mine. "I need you," she whispered, her voice trembling but certain. "Not just here, not just for survival, I need you." Those words, so simple yet so powerful, shattered every barrier between us. She wasn't my boss in that moment. She was just Eleanor, a woman whose heart beat in sync with mine. The days after that were different. We were no longer just survivors, we were companions, partners, something more. We laughed more, shared more, and leaned on each other. I discovered her playful side, her humor, her vulnerability. She discovered my quiet strength, my loyalty, my admiration that had always been hidden beneath professionalism. We swam in the lagoon together, gathered fruit, and sometimes just lay on the sand, watching the stars. At night, she would curl against me, no longer afraid to need someone. And I cherished her in a way I never thought possible. Months passed. Hope of rescue dwindled, but strangely, we stopped fearing it. The island had become our world, and in that world, we had each other. But fate wasn't done with us. One morning, a distant sound broke the rhythm of waves, the drone of an engine. We rushed to the shore, waving frantically. A fishing boat spotted us, and soon, we were rescued. Back in civilization, reality returned. She was Ms. Hayes again, the powerful CEO, and I was her employee. But something had changed. Behind the polished exterior, her eyes sought mine with the same warmth they held on the island. A week later, she called me into her office. I stood nervously, unsure if our bond belonged to the island alone. But then, she walked around her desk, closed the distance, and whispered, "I haven't stopped needing you." And when she kissed me again, in the heart of the city this time, I knew that what we had found in the wilderness wasn't just survival. It was love, raw, undeniable, and everlasting.